Well, listen, I've had my own Olympic experiences, and then so going into Beijing as a coach, I wanted to try and use my experience as a swimmer and what I learned and put that into my athlete and one of my athletes was César Cielo, who had never been to the Olympics before. He's a 21-year-old kid. He had dreams of winning the Olympics. He didn't tell everybody else that, but between him and I, he wanted to win. So he believed he could from the first time he went. But so weeks out, we did this exercise, and it could be silly, but this is what I did. Okay. So what I asked him to do was meet me at a taxi. We were in Macau. So Macau is like
Yeah, I
a
know.
Chinese,
Vegas.
yeah, it's like Chinese Vegas, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we met at a taxi, and I said, asked the taxi driver to take us to the busiest street in Macau. And so he dropped us down in the middle of the city, and there's people everywhere. I mean, it's packed, right? And we saw this long path. And so what I said to him, we came to the bottom of the path. And what I said to him is, I want you to walk down this path. And as you walk down the path, I want you to focus in on your race. I want you to visualize your race. I want you to be in the ready room. I want you to walk out. I want you to, put your suit on. I want you to, stand behind the blocks. I want you to swim the event. But as you're doing all of this, we're going to walk down the street. And so as we're walking down the street, he's kind of bumping into people, and I can see he's kind of forcing himself into the kind of like this visualization. But something kind of magical happened as we kept walking further and further. And I asked him to go deeper and deeper into his visualization. He started to avoid people, and people started to avoid him, and it started to open up. And from before where he was moving past people, he was actually just walking in a straight line, and people started to get out of his way. And he got into this very intense zone, and people just moved away from him. It was a very interesting experience, to say the least, and it lasted probably about 10 minutes. And we walked for about 10 minutes where he did this visualization down this busy street. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted him to experience that crowd. And it's very difficult to replicate the crowd in that moment where you're supposed to be very focused and intense, and yet you've got all these things going on around you. And so we just did this simple exercise of walking down the street in this crowded area and visualizing at that point in time. And it's something that he told me later that helped him immensely when he got to Beijing and was able to then perform in front of the crowd. Was that a good
Wow.
thing?
Yeah, I got chills.